So in this lesson, I want to just talk about something that comes up all the time in C and C++ programming. It's where was my header file actually installed? Because if we actually go ahead and try to look for where our SDL program is, and I'll just go ahead and look at one of our samples here, we actually have SDL2 slash SDL.h. Now, if you've done some programming, you probably understand that this comes from some sort of system path, and it's able to find SDL by looking through some environment variable called path, for instance. But where actually is this path? Well, we have one sort of approach that we can use for this. And we could use some tool like find, for instance, to just do a brute force search through all of my directories. And if I run this, you'll see that it's sort of searching through all of my files and finding some various projects that I've worked on and so on, where SDL.h happens to come up. And this is relatively a brute force approach to use the find command. But instead, we can actually use our compiler, which is the thing that's looking at our source code, to help us. So one way that we can do this is by using G++-H, which will expand out the header file paths, and then just emit the syntax only. So it won't output the actual binary in this case. And you'll notice I'm not going to link any libraries or do anything. I'm just going to compile our main.cpp file here. And I'm going to rewrite that output to file.txt so we can observe what's going on. So I'll go ahead and run that command. I'm going to move this window off to the side so that we can investigate it. So let's go ahead and see what is in our file.txt. And I can do a search with my favorite editor, Vim here. If I expand this out for SDL.h, and eventually I can find out that it's in my user include path, or at least that's one of the paths where it's looking for SDL2 and actually finds the SDL.h header here. And you'll see that there's some associated files here that you could manually include, although these are likely included from SDL.h. So that should answer the question of where in the world was SDL2 or SDL installed on my system. So you can do this trick regardless if you're on a Linux system, Mac system, or on Windows using any of the installs that we did before. So hope that helps some folks, and it's just a good thing to know about utilizing your compiler.